the whole situation. But if you ever want to, well, first off, thank you for coming in and thank you for sharing. You're always more than welcome to hang out here. Also, if you need more friends, shameless plug, y'all, you can always come and hang out inside of the Discord. We talk about mental health stuff all the time, and we're all going through it. So if you'd like to come and hang out, I'd like to personally invite you. And also, if you ever feel like you need guidance or someone to talk to about mental health stuff, you can always feel free to reach out. So you are not a burden for going through stuff. I personally created this channel because I've struggled with mental health for, a long time. So I think I'm just now at the point in my life after a lot of work of really being happy and fulfilled. And so yeah, it's a journey, man. And I have bad days too still. So don't feel like you're alone by any means, or weird or abnormal for having hard times. No, they weren't. I stopped talking to them, but still the walls are up. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get that it's really hard to be vulnerable, especially if you've had times in the past where people have really let you down. So I'm sorry. That sounds really shitty. I'm sorry you had to go through that. So let's take a moment to dive into our guided meditation here, y'all. I'm going to turn off the music again. Get in your comfy space. Nice. Yeah, come on in. Feel free to hang out. Always happy to have people to talk about mental health stuff with.
We're going to learn that self-compassion isn't indulgent. It's an essential part of navigating life's challenges. Finding a comfortable position, you might be seated in a chair, resting on a cushion, or even lying down.
All right, y'all, find a comfy
Whatever
space.
feels most supportive to you. Perhaps close your eyes, or maybe lowering your gaze feels more comfortable. Whatever feels right, simply allowing yourself to settle into this moment.
I love mindfulness, y'all.
And let's start by bringing awareness to the breath, noticing its gentle rhythm. Without changing or controlling the breath, we're simply observing. Perhaps noticing how the air feels as it enters the nostrils, cool and light, and noticing how it feels as it leaves, maybe warmer, maybe softer.
I'll set my full screen this so we can get in the vibe.
I invite you now to rest one hand gently over your heart if that feels supportive. Perhaps you might notice the warmth of your palm or the rise and fall of the chest beneath your hand. This simple gesture can send a message of comfort to the body, helping us feel safe and held. As we breathe here, we might notice any areas of tension or tightness in the body. Perhaps there's a heaviness in the chest or a tightness in the shoulders, or even a sense of restlessness. Without judgment, we're simply observing. Perhaps saying to ourselves, I see you. It's okay. If it feels comfortable, I invite you to bring to mind a moment recently when you felt challenged. Maybe a mistake you've made, a moment of self-doubt, or a time where you felt like you weren't enough. Whatever arises is welcome. As we sit with this experience, we might notice how it feels in the body. Perhaps a heaviness, a tightness, a warmth. Whatever we notice is perfectly okay. There's no right or wrong way to feel. Now, gently, let's see if we can bring some kindness to this experience. You might silently repeat these words to yourself or simply let them wash over you. It's okay to feel this way. I'm doing my best, and that's enough. I am human, and being human means sometimes I'll stumble, and that's okay. If these words don't feel right for you, that's okay too. Perhaps you can find your own words of kindness. Words we might say to a dear friend in this situation. Dr. Kristen Neff, who's the leading researcher on self-compassion, she discovered the power of self-compassion during one of the most difficult periods of her life, when her son was diagnosed with autism. She realized that in order to truly support her son, she needed to offer herself kindness first. Her journey taught her, and so many others, that self-compassion isn't a luxury. It's a foundation we need to navigate life's challenges. Her story reminds us that treating ourselves with gentleness isn't indulgent, it's essential. It allows us to face difficulties with resilience and care. Let's take a deep breath in and a slow breath out. And let's take a moment to reflect on this practice. Perhaps we can ask ourselves, is there an area of my life where I've been particularly hard on myself? And how might it feel to bring a little self-compassion to that part of my life today? What would it be like to soften the inner critic, even just a little? A slow breath in and out. Okay, good. As you move through your day, I invite you to try a simple practice. When you notice the inner critic speaking up, try this. Pause, place your hand over your heart, and ask yourself, what would I say to a loved one in this situation? Then, offer those same kind words to yourself. For example, if you're feeling frustrated about a mistake, you might say, it's okay to make mistakes. It's part of being human. I can learn from this and move forward. This reframing allows us to shift from self-criticism to self-kindness, creating the space to grow with greater ease. I want you to know this. Self-compassion is not a weakness. It's a strength. It gives us the courage to face life's challenges with gentleness and care. So the next time you catch yourself being hard on yourself, pause take a breath and remind yourself you are doing your best and your best is enough. And whenever you're ready, gently opening the eyes and coming back to the space around you. If this meditation resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with someone who might need it too. You can also subscribe to my channel to explore more practices like this one. Sharing, liking, and subscribing helps me to continue creating these meditations for you and for others who are looking for moments of calm, clarity, and kindness. Thanks for being here with me today, and I'll see you next time for the Daily Coach.
It's such a nice voice. I'm like so calm right now. How was that, everybody? Let's see. So Tiff Tiff says, so every stream is a different lesson about mental health. Yes, that is correct. I pick a different topic every stream and we talk about it. We go over everything from self-compassion, depression, anxiety, talk about dating and relationships, all that stuff. What days do you stream, if you don't mind me asking? I typically currently stream Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. So I might add in a fourth stream. Maybe we'll do like a Saturday day stream eventually. My life is a little bit crazy with grad school apps, but eventually I'd like to get up to 4 days a week. So, but yeah, you're more than welcome to hang out anytime you'd like. How was that? I like doing guided meditations together. I find them very soothing. I also tend to get a little bit anxious on stream, so helps calm me down. Did anybody have anything come up for them? This is an invitation to share. Did anyone have anything come up with them for them when they did the guided meditation? Like any instance in particular where you felt like you'd been really hard on yourself, and how did that feel, and what were those critical inner thoughts, and is that something that you feel like you need to work on? So I always try to lead by example in this stream, so I'll share a little bit of a vulnerable one. And I've talked about this on stream before, but yeah, I went through a really hard breakup. It's been about 6 months, almost since 6 months since then. And I know right after it happened, I was brutal to myself. I tore into myself so bad. And I was just constantly criticizing myself, looking back and like, why didn't you do this? And why didn't you say that? And, I feel like it was someone that I really cared about. And I feel like I didn't show up as well as I wish that I had in the relationship. And so for months afterwards, it's a good 2 or 3 months, I just really tore myself to shreds. Because I try to be accountable, but sometimes I'm overly accountable, and critical inner voice tears up at me. So I really had to get to the point. And, of course, I was going through it. I do therapy pretty regularly, pretty much all the time, even if it's just like once every other week or once every month. But yeah, I really got to the point where I had to give compassion to myself and really remind myself, like, hey, I'm a human being and I'm going to make mistakes. And I can look back at that experience and recognize that there are things that I would have liked to change if I could have. With the information I know now, I would have done things differently than I had back then. But also, I am a human being and I'm always going to make mistakes. And that's just a part of learning and growing. And as a result of the experience, I feel like I've learned and grown a lot. So, yeah, that's been a thing for me that even now, every now and then I'll catch myself beating myself up about it, because who doesn't have a hard time with breakups and that sort of thing? But I really do feel like it's been such an exercise in self-love and self-compassion and self-care. So ironically, even though it was a really negative event, I feel like it's been the impetus for so much positive growth in my life. I really do. So always hard on myself. So I get that. Yeah, it's been a real thing. that I've worked on. I think I've made a lot of strides over the years, but it's still a thing that I have to catch myself on and work on. So, so yeah, what'd you guys think? That's talking about self compassion, and we'll hang out and stream for about another hour or so, and then we'll call it a night. I like doing the meditation stuff, but yes, your homework. Um, this gentleman reiterated it. If you are going through your daily life and you have an instance where you notice yourself being really critical to yourself, I want you to stop and think, how might I have this conversation if instead of this being a conversation with myself, it was a conversation with someone that I cared about, friend, loved one, spouse, child, whatever the case may be. And if I wouldn't talk to them that way, if I would think it abusive the way that I was talking, why is it okay for me to talk to myself that way? And then I want you to shift and try to reframe it. And how would I talk to myself if I talk to somebody I care about? And then take some time to think about, yo, you should care about yourself, right? So work on that. I know it's something that I actively practice. All the shit that I talk about, I actively practice myself. So don't feel like this is just a hokey therapy stream. This is all stuff that I've actively practiced over the years throughout in my own life. So you guys are not alone. Might be a little bit farther ahead on the path, but one's work on oneself is never over in life. So with that, I am going to take a brief restroom break and a self-care break to grab some coffee, because coffee at 9 o'clock at night is definitely going to screw up my sleep schedule. But self-care, baby. Self-care. So I will be right back, y'all. I will leave some